Welcome back to iHeartRadio. So bad it's good. As you just heard the intro, here they are. Ladies, please let us know who you are and what you do and what your history is.
Hi, Ryan. Well, so you know me. I'm Trisha LaFache. I am a writer, actor, lawyer, producer, director.
And wait. Are you an actor that plays a lawyer as an actor, or are you actually a lawyer?
A lawyer who plays an actor as a lawyer as an actor, which I will be coming back to the show in March for my show that's coming out on Amazon Freebie. But we have so much to talk about today that we'll put a pin on that one, which you're going to love because it actually has a reality element to it. So it does hook in with your show. But you and I have a long history. I've been on the show before, had a great time. And why we're here is because I approached you with interviewing one of my very best friends in the whole world. We met in third grade, and here we are, 25 years old. No, I'm just kidding. We met in third grade, and we've been best friends ever since. I was the maid of honor in her wedding. We've been through it from front to back, head to toe. And several years ago, she got a little jammed up and ended up in the Federal Correctional Institution at Danbury for a period of time.
So Danbury, the Correctional Institution, which is, guys, if that name sounds familiar, that is supposedly a place where somebody like Jen Shaw might be sentenced to go. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so Anne Marie, that's your name, correct?
Yes, that's my name. Hi.
I love that. I love that Trisha, she got jammed up a couple of years ago. So you're able to provide us maybe with a little bit of perspective of what Jen Shaw, who you guys know we've been talking about for the last couple of years on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, might be dealing with. And just to catch up everybody to speed, now Trisha is able to speak from a lawyer perspective. Anne Marie, what do you do now?
I'm a wife, a mother of three, and a cosmetologist.
Okay, so you already are working harder than me and Trisha combined, obviously. I mean, that sounds way too much. Okay, so this is fascinating for me from Trisha's perspective, from a law perspective, but also what we are to expect or what Jen is to expect. Jen Shaw, you guys, has been convicted of financial crimes. And from my understanding, she is at the top of a pyramid right now where it seems like everybody has testified against her. So she had to change her plea where she was saying not guilty. She was about to go to trial. I was having a conversation. Trisha was on her honeymoon, you guys, calling from overseas. It was the worst connection ever. And she was trying to explain to me and to us what was happening of the change of plea, because all of a sudden they were about to go to trial and they changed her plea to guilty after she's been screaming from the top of her lungs she's innocent. This is a jam up job. They're trying to take her down, and then she changes her plea. And we're going to get into that in a second, but I just want to catch everybody up to speed. Was that December 15th was supposed to be her sentencing, and they just moved it now to January 6th. Now, Anne Marie, before we get to you about what we're going to expect at January 6th, Trisha, to you, why, can we just keep changing these sentencing dates until the end of the world? Does she just never get sentenced?
And Anne Marie knows this, being a federal defendant in the system, not on the motion of the defense. So from my understanding, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure your listeners who seem to be right on it will correct me. But from my understanding, the motions are on the motion of the government to postpone Jen's sentencing. And because we know all of the paperwork has been filed, that is why my suspicion is right now that Jen is cooperating with the government in order to get a better sentence, because the government does not offer postponements to be kind. You can say, what about the argument that the holidays are coming up? But just because Jen let's say she was sentenced on the 15th, there may not be a bed available at Danbury, and they could always say, do the sentencing and have her self-surrender in April, self-surrender in February. So the holidays aren't really the situation, because it's not uncommon for a defendant to not immediately be remanded to the custody of the Federal Bureau.
Yeah, it's not a naughty or nice situation of like, you've been nice this year, Jen. We're gonna wait till after the holidays.
And by the virtue of, now listen, will the judge accept one adjournment on the defense's bequest? Sure. Will they accept 4? Absolutely not. So the government is the one making the motion for the adjournment. It tells me that she is cooperating with the government, that she is telling them
finally. Wow.
Right.
It only took a couple years. Wait, Anne-Marie, I just caught what Trisha said. You said you were a defendant, right? Is that what, did I catch that correctly?
Yes, I had 13 other co-defendants in my case. And I too was out on pretrial before I got sentenced. They allowed me to stay out for 18 months because my case was still going on. People were going to trial, not going to trial. And I got sentenced 2 days after Christmas. I had to self-surrender. They let me stay out for Christmas for my daughters because their father was in. So we were in the case together.
Which, by the way, was very much like Teresa Giudice and Joe Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey. If you guys listening know about that, the father was in first, and then he came out, and then, or no, Teresa went in first, and then Joe went in afterwards. So that's what you're saying. What happened in your case was that the father was in first.
He went in, I was out, then I went in. So the two of us were in together. I was in for 2 years. He was in for 7. So, but I did come home first and I did go in after him.
Anne-Marie, can I just, I don't know if this is too personal for you, but like when you're dealing with that kind of system, what are the thoughts going through your head? Is there an acceptance? Is there just straight up fear? Like, that 2 days after Christmas, like what is going through your head the week of your sentencing? What are those emotions going through your head?
Complete stress. How did I get myself into this predicament? How am I going to get myself out? For the first time of my life, I'm not going to get out of it. My mom and dad can't save me. I'm screwed.
Wow.
So it's basically like do or die. You have like this mindset that just kicks in and that's it. You have no choice. You have to do it. There's no getting out of it. It is what it is.
At that point, but before that, did you think there's a way I'm getting out of this? Like before you were like, because Jen Shaw right now, like, I'm always trying to think of the psychology behind this is that she really thought that she was going to be able to buy, like to pay for the right lawyers to get herself out of it. And I'm assuming Trisha could probably fill us in with what happened at the last minute where she realized I'm not getting out of this. I'm not getting a deal. I better, plead guilty.
Two things I want to back you guys up on. Annie, you said you went in 2 days after Christmas, but you were sentenced in what, early November?
I was sentenced, I think so. I don't really remember, but I think I knew I was getting the time. They just allowed me to stay out until after Christmas.
So that's what I was saying. Gotcha, December 15th. It's very common because they don't know if they have a bed. It's very common to get your sentence and then be remanded if you're not already in custody.
Didn't you say this was on the prosecution side, not the defense side, which is why, the prosecution seemed like they had all their ducks in a row with Jen at this point. Why are they postponing? Don't you? I don't understand why they would.
The only reason they would do that is
because she's participating.
If she agreed to, because if they're having what's called proffer sessions, right, you have to earn your keep, right? So basically, if she goes in there, if she's cooperating with them and she continues to perpetrate the fraud on them, which she will try to do, at least for a while, they have to wear her down to where she starts telling the truth. Well, that's just the bare minimum. Once she does that, she then has to tell them something that they don't know in order to get more points taken off her sentence. And because their investigation has been going on for so long, the chances of her having information that they don't know are slim to none. But in order for her to get that letter that tells the judge that she's cooperated enough, that she's provided effective assistance, it's got to be more than she has to tell them where the bodies are. You know what I mean? There's no way anything that they already
but know. Everybody's already turned against her and made her the body. What body else is she going to give them?
They're always willing to play ball in case there's something else. But the thing is, and in her factual basis for her plea agreement, the factual basis says 55 and older. It says 10 people or more. Those, when you do a sentencing memorandum from the prosecution standpoint, 55 and over adds a certain amount of points. I was telling you this.
Are you talking about the age 55 or
Yes,
the amount of,
55.
Okay.
Because so,
And we're all on the phone. We're all 25. We all agree this right now.
Yeah,
The three of us,
exactly. That's
we're
it.
25, so we don't have to worry about 55.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We would not be considered her victims. No.
Yes.
So no, because the federal sentencing guidelines, again, Anne-Marie knows this, base offense level for fraud is probably about 6. Where like for narcotics, it's probably a 17 or something like that, right? Once you get your base offense level, the numbers go up and up. Okay, so her base offense level is 6. Her
6 years. 6 years.
Number 6. Just
Okay.
number
Sorry.
6. Her criminal history category is 1 because she has no prior felony. That's the same situation Anne-Marie was in. Most of her co-defendants were not in that situation, so they were in a criminal history category of 2 because they had a prior felony. So Jen doesn't have a prior felony, so she's in a criminal history category of 1. The numbers go up and up, so they add points for the fact that she agreed that it's the people that were targeted were 55 years and older. So let's say that's 4 more points. She agreed that there were 10 or more people that she supervised in this. So let's say that's 4 more points. So now you're up to like 15 points.
So we're trying to get to Uno here. We're trying.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
like,
So the government's job is to keep driving up those points because those points are how you get the sentencing range, which is what you already know. The 30 years, the range that she's in, right? The range,
accept responsibility,
right?
They will take points off.
Right.
If accept
So
responsibility.
that's 3 points.
So basically what we were just talking about was adding up the points and trying, the sentencing guidelines of all of that stuff. And that's what, do you prefer Annie or Anne-Marie?
Anne-Marie, whatever.
Okay. What was your prison name? I mean,
They called it Italia.
They called you what?
Italia. It's
Italia.
Either nationality or something of that nature. Yeah. So they called me Italia.
So I'm assuming yours, and you don't have to get into this, was a financial crime potentially as well. It was not. Far from it. Okay. I didn't know if Danbury was a place where they sent mainly financial people that have committed financial crimes.
No, Danbury was actually it was pretty gangster. Danbury was pretty crazy. There were people there from slaps on the wrist to molestation to murder to trafficking drugs, like all over the world. Like I thought I was like big shit when I was in there. You go and you meet all these people from all over the world whose crimes are so much more intense than yours or serious or crazy. And you're like, God, I'm a nobody. Like, with 30,000 kilos and this and that. And I felt like a little peanut in there after I learned what was really going on,
Thank you for sharing. I mean, this really is such an interesting perspective, but I to go back to the actual trial. So we do know, okay, so the prosecution requested the move to January 6th.
Yeah. And then that's why I was walking you through the numbers, because what's in the papers of the guideline range, right? Like up to 30 years is based on her plea agreement. And that's what I was saying to you when we talked before was I believe she pled guilty probably around the last minute, and Anne-Marie will tell you this is true. There's a point where they say to you, hey, listen, we're close enough to trial that if you want those 3 points off for acceptance of responsibility, and they can give you 2, or they can give you 3, or they can give you 1. You got to plead now, or we've prepared so much, you're not getting those 3 months. Those 3 points, forgive me. You're not getting those 3 points. So you have to plead now, because if we get any further down the road, and you do take a plea, you're not getting those 3 points. Okay, boom. So she takes the plea and then she's going to get those 3 points.
But that was the week of. They had already planned to go to, I mean, like, Annie, is that correct? Is that what you did? Is they said, hey, we're going to do that point thing? Is that what they did with you?
Well, they did, and I did accept responsibility, but I more or less would not cooperate. So they that pissed them off. So I think that's more of a reason why I ended up going away. I wouldn't cooperate, and I got a conspiracy charge.
Oh, wow. So they added another charge to it then.
It was basically just the conspiracy charge that I had, but when you cooperate or this or that, they obviously will, be a little bit more lenient on you. But I just couldn't offer any information. I had nothing to offer.
Trisha, did you give her advice on all of this going through her process? Because you are a lawyer. You are involved in this system.
Were like my lawyer. They were my lawyers for my case.
Of course,
my best friend, my lawyer.
By the way, Trisha, this needs to be the TV show you write. I remember reading that one pilot where you were the lawyer pilot.
We've been saying this for years, but yes, I was her lawyer. No, she didn't follow all of my advice. Yes, she could have gotten off with no. But, and the punchline is, of her 13 co-defendants, Anne-Marie, how many of them went to trial?
I don't think any of them.
I had none would be the answer. Okay. And how many of them cooperated?
Probably about half of them or most.
Yeah, exactly. So she wouldn't cooperate. And,
Hey guys, we're laughing about this, but don't worry. I do know this is very serious.
No, it is.
I do know nobody wants.
By
the way, we're making this is a joke show sometimes. But we try to keep this light, but this is actually really good information because it gives us a peek behind the curtain of what really is happening right now. And it's just like Hollywood in a way of all of these behind the scenes of what's going on in casting a show or something like that. It's
right.
like I don't understand. A lot of us don't understand the Bravo audiences of why did this lady scream innocence for so long and then at the very last minute then changes her plea, and she still has to let us know that on TV because we're in a season of Salt Lake now where she is still screaming innocence. Are you allowed to, this is my big question, if she changed her plea to guilty, she's going to get sentenced, is she allowed to then say, guys, I pled guilty, but I'm really innocent actually, and I just had to do this for my family? Or would that affect her overall sentence? Can they re-sentence her if she tries to act like it was like a scam job by the government?
In my experience, nothing will ever be done on motion of the judge. So if it's settled and then the show airs, the judge would never reopen up the case.
Okay.
The people that would reopen up the case would be the government. The government would have an issue with her saying, I pled guilty, because there is a no contest plea. Like, for example, if you watch The Staircase, right? Michael, what's his name? He did the
Alford plea, right?
Alford plea.
Yeah, Alford plea.
Where you say, I'm not pleading because I'm actually guilty. I'm pleading because I acknowledge if I went to trial that the state, because that's not a federal case, that the state could prove its case against me. And
you can't sue the state. You can't sue the state. Yeah.
Right. And she didn't take that plea. She took and a federal plea is very scary. You could ask Amory about this. Like when you take a federal plea, I'm almost shocked that anybody doesn't go like, oh, F this, I'm out of here. I mean, they're like, this is final and you can't appeal anything. And like, you're nailed to the cross. I mean, they are no joke.
Wait, Trisha, were you in the courtroom when she got sentenced?
I was not, because I was here in California. It was right when I moved.
Her dad was though. Okay.
Yeah, my dad was with her.
Wow, Trisha. Wow, Trisha wouldn't make the flight for your sentencing. That's interesting.
Not for the sentencing.
Wow, what a friend.
Things.
What a friend. Yeah.
Okay. I did go to Danbury, which is one of the reasons why I want you to ask her about some of the more strange rules.
Okay, this is gonna so January 6th, which is just what a wild date to sentence anybody on at this point. But she's going to maybe get sentenced unless it gets postponed further. And the sentencing on a minimum, from my understanding, is that it's going to be at least 10 years, even with whatever she does, at least because the other people that have already turned against her have gotten really pretty harsh sentencing already.
Yeah. Is Stewart sentenced?
I don't believe we've gotten Stewart's sentence yet, but we do know that he will get, a little bit of a better sentence because he did turn against Jen.
Wow.
Right. Well, for example, like in Amory's case, which was not a white collar case, but some of the guys were facing
30, 20.
And they ended up getting 7 or 8 from cooperating. So you can get down. And also they were facing mandatory minimums. See, that's another incentive to cooperate, by the way, because there's no mandatory minimums in this case. In certain cases, there are mandatory minimums, a mandatory minimum of 10 years, a mandatory minimum of 20, where the only way to get below the guideline range is to cooperate and to do a good job for the government. In her case, these guideline ranges are suggested. That's why I'm saying that if she's cooperating with the government, she's going to get a lot lower, I think, than people are expecting. I do not think that there's at all a possibility that she will get away with no jail time.
And do you remember they sent me, I remember getting a letter from the U.S. state attorney or whatever the hell he was.
Happy holidays, Annie.
Yeah.
It's us.
Happy holidays from Danbury. No, I got a letter stating that I would be facing 5 to 40 years and I almost died.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that wasn't like some sort of scare tactic that they do too. I don't know, because how could I get 5 to 40 years? I was never in trouble. So, I mean, I don't really know how they go off their time. I mean, it's
So wait, so what was your sentence and what did you end up serving? Did you get time for good behavior knocked off? Like, did you serve the whole sentence?
there's no good behavior in federal prison. I don't think. I think you do 85% of your time.
That's
I
correct.
2 years and I did 2 years.
Well,
think I got-
85% of that. Everybody does 85% of their time. So they go in months. And so if she got, I'm going to show what my poor math skills here. 24 months, 85% of it was what, 18 months? 19 months?
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you have to go to a halfway house. Did you go to
I
a
have, which makes you feel so less of a citizen, but you have to go to the halfway house. It's just
And
mandatory.
the halfway house is just that in between of your normal life. Like it's just checking
They
in.
want to ease you back into society where we don't need help. We can just go back into society.
Yeah. Like we came from society. We don't need to ease back into it.
Go back. Right.
Okay. So Jen Shaw gets sentenced, say, and like January 6th. And then we just had, I don't know, you guys are aware of this other reality show family, the Chrisleys.
Yeah.
Oh, Todd, I can't believe it.
Todd and Julie just got sentenced to 12 years and 7 years for financial crimes. And I believe they report in March for their jail time. And it's wild because I think Julie Chrisley, I believe is her name, she's going to be in the same prison as Ghislaine Maxwell, Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos. Like I was like, there's going to be some pretty heavy hitters. Like is Jen Shaw? Like I don't know if this is Danbury as well, but they're going to be around this kind of like. I don't know if it's the same prison, but it just seems like very interesting that they could all be in there at once.
Where is Elizabeth Maxwell's case?
Elizabeth Holmes?
That's what I mean. Where's her case?
I thought it was New York. I thought it was.
Then that makes sense. It makes sense if they're all if the cases are all in New York, the closest prison is Danbury. And by the way, the reason why Martha Stewart and Piper and Amory and Little Kim and all the ladies are all shacked up in Danbury is because in the federal system, women make up 7% of the inmates. So there really aren't that many prisons. Now, don't get me wrong, detention centers, they have to allow men and women in detention centers. That means pre-sentencing, if you're being held, like Ghislaine Maxwell, who was not released. Although like Elizabeth Holmes, she is released. Obviously, these are the difference between violent crimes and nonviolent crimes. You would be held in the same housing unit pre-trial and pre-sentencing than men. But once you get sentenced, you have to go to a women's prison. Go ahead, Annie.
What was that, Annie?
No, I was saying once you get sentenced, you go to your designated prison. Like she's talking about the detention centers holding before your sentencing. Once you get sentenced, you go to your designated prison. That's where you go. That's where you stay.
Okay, so Jen gets sentenced to Danbury, let's say. Take us through that. Like, do you show up in the morning? Like, what is the intake process? Do you have to, do you get trained on how to live in a prison? Like, how do you even learn the ropes? Or is that just something they throw you in and hopefully you figure it out?
They throw you in. I had to self-surrender. I had my friend drive me to Danbury in my little Jetta.
Probably not Trisha again. She wouldn't fly in for that.
I know, but I was on the phone with her like, I'm going now.
Wait, Annie, may I ask what your mental, like, were you bawling? Were you like just losing your mind? Like, I mean, were you thinking of running? Like, I don't know what I would go through my mind going in.
I never thought of running because I had kids and I said, I just have to do this and get it over with. But I was a mess. I mean, I was,
yeah.
And leaving my kids that morning, saying goodbye to them, I'm going to cry now, was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do was say bye to them. But I did. I gave them hugs and kisses, said I was going to mommy camp to be a ranger because they were like 2 and 4 at the time. And I said,
to mommy camp. Oh my God.
How to be a better mom and work with girls, and you guys can see me whenever you want. And got in the car and my friend drove me and I had a couple of drinks and then I drove up to the gate and I walked in the front door and they said, who are you here to visit? And I said, I'm not visiting. I'm here to self-surrender.
Oh my God.
And I started crying and the lady there was Italian and she goes, honey, we're not that bad here. And then walked me around to the gate, said bye to my friend. And it was really, traumatic when you just walk through that one little gate outside and then you hear clink and the gate closes behind you. You're still outside, but to hear that noise, you're like, wow, I'm fucking in here now. Now you can't get out. That's it. The gate closed, you're in. There's nothing you can do. Game on. Like, that's it. And I walked in.
And did you have a mentality then of like, you already seem like a strong individual just meeting you today. Did you have like, I'm going in with this take no prisoners attitude. Once I said goodbye to my kids, it's game on. Do you have to like have a mentality like that?
You kind of pretty much do, but like for me, it just kind of like set in, like survival mode kind of kicks in because there's nothing you can do about it. And you just have to accept that and go with it. And when I walked in, they were like, strip this, that, earrings, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, I thought I was going to the camp. And
what's camp? What's camp?
So camp is another part of Danbury where it's not enclosed with barbed wire. You have more freedom. There's vending machines. It's more
free.
Yeah. More. They can drive the van if they're working out. Like, it's just like,
wait, they get to drive a van? You get to drive if you're in prison?
A van. Yeah. They could they had so many more things available to them.
So you thought you were going to go into the camp. What made you think that you would get that?
The judge said that I was going to get to the camp. And I was okay, at least I'm going to a camp. And then the CO said, no, honey, your points are too high. You're going behind the wall with the rest of the hard heads. And I'll never forget. And that's when I dropped. Like, it's like, fuck. Oh my God. And that's when I really was like, wow, no, the judge said, and they said, well, the judge isn't here. And I was like, oh my, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So I mean, sorry to ask so many like
you're fine.
Trivial questions, but like, so you go in, you find this out, like, is the first thing, like they take all your pictures and like strip you of your stuff?
My clothes, they took my purse, they let me leave my necklace on because it was a Jesus piece. Took my earrings, and I had nothing. They put it in a box and they put it away till you leave.
You should have had that Jesus piece kind of be also like a little knife. Like the Jesus could have been a little shank if you needed it. Like the cross could have been no, but like, do they then like introduce you to your cellie? Like, do you go immediately to your cell?
You do not go immediately to your cell. They put me in the SHU, which is segregating housing, because they had to clear me for gang relation. And I believe.
Wait, what does gang relation mean?
Make sure you're not gang related or gang affiliated before they let you in with the general population.
Yeah, everybody goes to the special housing unit for, it's like 2 weeks or something.
But if you were gang related, would you be honest about that? I'd be like, no gang here.
But they have books. They have books.
Okay.
But I was not gang related. And I think they knew that. And they that I wasn't. And they just put you in a cell in the segregated housing, which when I got there, I was like, wow, you're in here 24 hours. There's a toilet there. I don't know the bunkie that I'm pissing with. I have to put my hands through a hole to get cuffed and handed a razor to go to the shower and shave my legs. And
okay, so wait, that was another stupid question I had. They let you shave your legs and like your pits and stuff like that?
Yeah, you put your arms through the bar, they cuff you, they let you out, they walk you down the tier to the shower, they hand you the razor, you do what you got to do, you hand them the razor when you're done, you dress in the shower and you go back to your cell. And that's what I thought prison was going to consist of. And then I woke up like on the 13th day and they said, Spina, come on, you're out. And I'm thinking, oh my God, where am I going? Like, what is this? Where
Finally to the camp. It's time to drive the van. I'm going to drive the van. Yeah.
I never made it to the camp. I stayed behind the wall in the FCI, but they secure the whole compound. It's called the compound, basically, when you're there. And they secure it when a new inmate comes out or if there's a fight and someone's going in the shoe, but they secure the compound. And I walked out and there was not a soul out there but me. I was like, oh my God. And CO handed me a piece of paper, probably an inch big. And he said, here. And I go, what is this? He said, your address to your new house. And I was like, what the frig? And it said, Unit 3. I said, oh my God. So what do I do? They were like, go to Unit 3. Like, they tell you nothing. They don't give a shit. And I went and I was in Unit 3 and I had a little incident when I was walking in the tier on my first day into the shoe. This one girl said, oh, who's this coming in? Is someone that got in a fight? And they were like, no, it's somebody new. She's a nobody. And I remember saying, well, I'm somebody. And that really helped. Somebody helped me because when I got to the unit and walked upstairs, there was this big girl named Portia. And she said, hey, I remember you. You came in a few weeks ago and you told that girl that you were somebody. And I was like, yeah. She was like, I got you. I got you. Nobody's going to fuck with you. I was like, oh God, thank God. Like, I mean, I was just relieved. And I guess because if you just kind of speak up for yourself a little bit, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Jen definitely knows how to do.
And I was saying, I was watching the show and she definitely is a little more gangster than the rest of them. And she seems to be genuine. I saw one episode last night and she was like, you're crying over this, and that. And I'm fighting for my life. And I'm thinking, yeah, these bitches are fighting over who's cheating on her husband with Blondie over her. Had no business even bringing it up. What a messy little shit she was. And poor Jen's got real problems. And I was like, yeah, they need to just pipe it and let Jen vent right now. But I think Jen's going to be fine in there. I think she's going to be just fine. I mean, you get used to it. You really do. Like at first you're like, where am I? This is my house. I live here now. This is my house. Okay. Wow. Great. It's my shower, my toilet, my bed. But it just kicks in and you get used to it. Like you're going to be okay. Like she's going to be okay. No matter what prison she ends up in, I feel like she's going to be okay.
Can you walk us through a date? Like what time do you wake up?
It's the absolute.
Sorry, guys.
That's cool.
I don't know why it dropped out.
Okay.
You were just on such a good part too. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Where was it? Where do you want to?
Okay, so you were because I was saying Jen Shaw obviously doesn't have anything to worry about because you were letting us know that you said that one day you stuck up for yourself. So that one girl, Portia, said, I got you, girl. I got you. And I was like, if that's really how prison goes down, then Jen Shaw is going to be fine.
She's going to be just fine.
She's going to be just fine. Yeah.
She's going to be running that place potentially.
I swear to God, part of the reason I wanted Anne-Marie to come on was so that she could tell you because she didn't watch the show before now. I was like, you got to watch it so you can tell Ryan how you think she's going to do, because I think Jen Shaw is going to be just fine. She's going to thrive.
Yeah. She's going to thrive.
So you go to Unit 3 and, what does your day-to-day consist of at that point?
So when you go to Unit 3, it's called the bus stop, where the unit I went to, the room's called the bus stop. There was 6 bunk beds in there, and that's where you go until they find a bed for you. Newcomers come in, they go to a bus stop. When someone gets in trouble and goes to the shoe or leaves to go home, there's a bed available, you get a bed. So I was in the bus stop for, say, 2 weeks. The bunkie underneath me was in there for murder. Everyone else was in there for drugs. One girl was in there for flying drugs in her private plane from Florida to I don't know where. All different walks of life. Then this beautiful.
By the way, there's going to be a Netflix series on everybody that she was in Unit 3 with. You should just have a Netflix documentary series about everybody.
Must stop.
Yeah. Yes, actually. Yes.
The bus stop. And then like this beautiful Russian girl comes in. She was in there for like arranging prearranged marriages. She didn't know what the hell was going on. She was a wreck. She thought we were all murderers. We ended up having tea with her by the end of the week. So you basically, you wake up, you kind of figure out what you're doing. You have nothing. Right
What time do you have to wake up at? Is there a set time?
There is a set time. The inmates run the prison. Without the inmates, the prison does not function. So whatever your job is where you report to in the morning. If you're not there for very long, you get a shitty job. You get paid 7 cents an hour, 12 cents an hour, something like that. If you're there for a long time, you will work in Unicor. Unicor is where they make the mines, the little bombs for the army. So those girls—
Are you shitting me? They make mines in jail?
That's where they make a lot of the stuff for the army. The women are trained to make it. It's called Unicor. Yeah. And the women that are down for years get a job in Unicor because it pays the most. You know, they need money. They're going to be there for a long time. And yeah, I actually chipped my tooth in there, and I'll never forget. I was stressed out. I go, I'm going to throw it out. I go, no, don't throw it out. Save it. I chipped it on a freaking Now and Later. And I go, I can't throw the fucking chip out. Oh my God, I did chip my tooth. So I had the girls—
What did you think you were going to do? Glue it back in?
I did.
Can you trade a chip of a tooth for something in prison? Can you barter with that?
Yes, the girls from Unicor, I knew a lot of them. I was kind of popular in there my first month. I was very well known. I got along good. They were like,
By the way, she's the mayor of where we grew up. Like, she could have gone a different route and been the next fucking Nancy Pelosi. Trust me. She was always popular. I mean, we both were, but definitely not.
But he left. Fortunately, she got out of here. But yeah, so I just called my friend from Unicor. I said, listen, I need Unicor glue. I mean, if they're holding bombs together, can hold my together. So she brought me this little thing of glue, and I put it on, and I stuck it on, and it stayed for like a year.
That's not fair. You're getting better dental work than I do. Like, that is like insane.
It was crazy. It was
so
crazy.
Wait, so your job was what?
The yard, because I was in the yard because I was only there for 2 years. It was something available. I would get up in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. So I was like, that was my biggest fear, going there like, oh my God, I'm going to be in trouble. I can't get up. What am I going to do? Like, that stressed me out more than anything, but you adapt. I got up in the morning, you make your bed a certain way, and then you report to your job, which I never really had to, because the COs in there, some are cool, some aren't, but they were guys. One of them I was really cool with. He liked me. He knew I was like a good kid. I stayed to myself. And he would be like, oh, you're good, Spina. You reported. Go do whatever. And you could either, go back to your cell, or you could go to recreation, which was a gym. There's a weight room. There's a yard out back with a track, not a real track, a dirt track, but you can run. There's badminton. There's in the summertime, we could lay out with our towels.
Wait. Slow it down. Wait a second. You're telling me your job, your CO was so cool that you could go back to bed, or you could go play badminton or something like that, or go lay out?
Anyway, this is federal prison. This is not state prison. This is federal.
But like, were you like would you lay out, and then if somebody walked by like that was not your CO, would you get in trouble? Like, why are you laying out here?
Yeah, you couldn't lay out like anytime. It would be like after 4, you could lay out when everybody was done working. You could lay out. That you couldn't just go and lay out all day. And laying out, you're laying in a bunch of grass with goose poop in it. So you're probably laying up with green shit all over the back of your grays or your khakis.
Yeah.
So it wasn't on the beach. It's
not in bikinis, Ryan.
Right.
Okay, that's yeah.
We're in
prison issued bikinis. But yard work. I mean, were you like mowing? Like, what was the yard work?
Some of the girls would they mow the lawn, sweep. There was horticulture where they would grow things out in back. In the winter time, it was brutal. We would, my God, chopping ice. My first week there, I had to chop ice. I did on the top of a mountain, and I was chopping the ice. This was my job in yard, and the ice was so thick on the top of that mountain that the thing wouldn't go in, and it went sideways, and I slid. Literally couldn't stop, and I ran all the way across the compound. And when I finally stopped myself, this girl from Trinidad, Carlene, she goes, "Is there any reason why you are running?" And And I looked at her, I'm like, because it's slippery out here and I couldn't stop. And to this day, I talked to her. So yard work just consists of like anything outside. And then, then there's like the paint department where people go in and they paint the whole prison. There's plumbing where if a cell breaks or a toilet or this or that, even in like the where the doctors are, their offices in there, anything in the prison that goes wrong with plumbing, the inmates fix. Anything painting, the inmates.
What are you allowed to like bring? Is Jen allowed to have AirPods? Can she write emails? Does she have an iPhone? What can you bring in?
But I think since I left, we could do emails in there. You write and they write, you can correspond like that. They have to be read before they get to you. So you'll send one out, it has to get read before they get to the person.
And it's a very specific time. Like you can read emails between this time and this time.
You can go and email anytime as long as you're not
a computer room. It's not like you have a computer in your room. It's like, in college when they have the computer room.
Right.
Okay. Cause I was like, if they fucking have a TV in each one of these rooms, I'm going to kill somebody and go to prison. Like that's all I want. Like, but this is a computer room where you can go and do emails. I know these are silly questions. Is there a TV? Like, do you get to watch TV in there? Who gets to choose what's on the TV? Do you have cable?
So the computer room is in the rack where that is. When you have your time, you go in there, you do your emails, this is that, whatever. Your TVs are in the unit. So every unit has one TV and they have a TV room. So say on like Friday nights, we would be able to stay up until 11 or 12 instead of like say 9. So everybody would go in the TV room, watch TV, whatever the majority ruled is what was on. But we would have like, spa night or nail night and just try to keep ourselves busy in there and do what we could. If it were somebody's birthday, like the big thing was like decorating someone's cell. They decorated my unicorns and anything like that is also considered contraband.
Yeah.
But they also know we have no life. So some of the CEOs are like, all right, hurry up and take the decorations down. And some could be assholes. It all depends. That's why you never really get too comfortable with the CEOs because they could be your best friend one day and then come in and be having a bad day. And if your skin's showing and your shirt's up this much and they want to be an asshole, they can throw you in the shoe just because they want to and because they can. So it's nice to be respectful to them, but never too friendly because they can turn on you at any minute.
You said you had a murderer underneath you at one point. Were you ever physically scared over your 2 years at any point?
Never. No. Wanda, she actually was in there for somebody did something to her grandchild and she was not
okay.
So that happened, but she was so cute and she was very poor and she had nothing. And she'd be like, oh, Italia, let me get that lipstick or this. And I had this pink blush and she was so freaking funny. I gave her the blush and she had it on her face, on her lips, on her eyeshadow. I go, oh my God, Wanda, keep the freaking blush. But
Jen Shaw is going to be big with the blush because you're not going to be able to get. She has so much Botox and filler that's going to all disappear over the years.
It's going to be gone over the years, hon. But she'll have makeup. At least she can buy some makeup and stuff on commissary. You know what I mean? They have commissary.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I really wanted to ask too. It was about commissary, like putting money on the books, because there's a line in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that hasn't been aired yet, but somebody's like, you better be nice to me or I won't put any money on your books. So that's where people like me or Trisha, we could put money towards your books where you could buy things with in prison, correct?
Yes, you could Western Union it. Now I think they probably have better ways to get it in there now. I was in there years ago. But it comes on your book. You check your thing, you go in the box. It's a little touch screen, see how much you have in your account. You're allowed to spend like up to $380 a month.
$380?
Yeah. And, then you go in, you hand them your list of everything you checked off of what you need. And commissary gives you your stuff and you get your food, your coffee, your makeup, your hair color if you want to buy hair. Well, when I was in there, they stopped us buying hair color. You could only buy hair color if it were the same color as your hair. No more switching because it was changing your identity. They considered it in there.
Oh, wow. Do they overcharge on everything? Is it like the airport?
It is not like the airport, believe me. But I know the airport's crazy, isn't it? God.
Annie, was anyone ever jealous of you because you always had money on your books?
They would get mad, or that some of them would like be like, oh, I need this or I need that. And I'd be like, okay, well, I need my sneakers cleaned. You know what I mean? Like, I need my sneakers fucking cleaned.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, well, I got on prison TikTok recently. I don't know how, but like they have like, I don't know how they have access to phones, but like prisoners are doing TikTok and they're showing like how they cook their meals. Like, cause there's like all these different ways and like people will make like wine in their toilets and like all this kind of weird. Were you in, I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble after the fact, but were there parties? Like, did you get wild?
we had parties. We had parties for birthdays on a Friday night. We would all meet in the gym. If like the SEALs would come in, we'd act like we'd all hide our shit or whatever. But I mean, yes, we would make like potato bowls, potato logs. The best cheesecake you'll ever have is made in Federal. Okay. And they
watch out, Cheesecake Factory.
The Federal Cheesecake Company. I mean, and I never cheesecake until
government cheese. I don't know.
And they made it with cow cheese. Some had ice cream, Snickers you'd buy on commissary. They'd melt it over the top of the cake. Like, it was great. And then we'd freeze it. We'd get a bucket with ice. We'd sit our cheesecake on the ice and pray the CO didn't come in and find our bucket of ice sitting overnight. Like, shit like that. You know what I mean? But you really do make the best of it. I mean, we even got our nails done. Jen's going to have her nails done in there.
And, well, everybody finds like that, the human condition, everybody finds a way
they survive.
For humanity. Yeah.
You know what? They really do get each other. Like, there are some real assholes in there. You know what I mean? But for the most part, when you're in there, you can't judge. You can't judge a person on their crime. You don't know their life. You don't know what they've been through. You just know that we're all in here. We all did something stupid. And we're all in here together. Nobody's better than anybody when you're in there. You're all pretty much the same. You know what I mean?
Three more questions for you. And then to sum up with Trisha, because I've taken up so much of your time, this is just truly fascinating. Did any, and this is kind of a personal question too, everybody always jokes. I mean, did anybody hit on you? COs or the other women?
Prison rule number 1, don't turn gay for the stay or whatever the case may be.
It's always been my motto. It has always been my motto, Andy. Yes.
I was there for maybe 3-4 months, and so many girls actually, because you're new, so they like the new girl, they like this, like that. And I was like, God, I think some of these girls might be cute. You know what I mean? So I actually had a girlfriend in there for a while, and then she got on my nerves, and I was like, done with it. But I mean, you're in there for like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm so, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Way of life, and you get used to it, and you get up in the morning and it just becomes your day. It's just
so it really is like it's your own universe in there, like that you have your own life. Your life is not over. You're actually because I like you can probably read books if you want to. That's probably on commissary as well.
Guys, you can call your family, if you don't use all your minutes too quickly. There are things to do to keep you busy, but the food they give you, we used to call it sodium pie. I think they put fillers in it, and you can't really go too many places. You can walk and do this and that, but you will gain weight. And it's like, because you're not really moving around like you would be in the real world. And I remember so many times going out in the yard and looking at the sky, and you can't see any buildings. All you see is sky. And you're like, oh my God, where the frig am I? Like, you just feel like you're just in your own world. And there's a whole world out there that you just can't tangibly touch for a while. And it's just kind of crazy when you sit there and think to yourself all these different crazy things. But at the end of the day, it's okay. And I don't. And
you could compartmentalize things where you knew this was only 2 years of your life. The final 2 questions though are, what was your last day there like, and what was the first thing you did after you got out? And do you still keep in touch with any of your cellmates?
My last day there, everybody knows when you're getting ready to leave. They had a huge party for me. I gave away all my stuff. I gave away all my altered clothes, all my tight, cute clothes, my half shirts that I had made. Gave them all.
Why are you? I thought you had to wear the one outfit. I didn't know you could have half shirts and all this stuff.
You're not supposed to, but you alter everything, and altered clothes are not allowed, but sometimes they allow it. Sometimes if they're having a moment, they take them off. They make you take them off. It all depends on, that's why I say you never get too close with the COs. But I gave all my stuff away. I gave important things to me that were special to me. So like my good friends in there. And peace out, girls. I'm out of here. I left my friend email and a Facebook. So I gave all the girls my emails before I left. And my mom picked me up. I wanted grape leaves and hummus. I ate grape leaves. I got
grape leaves and hummus. That's what you wanted, was grape leaves and hummus?
I got out. I go, Mom, she goes, what do you want to eat? I'm like, grape leaves and hummus. Got the grape.
Your mom is like, I'm leaving you back there. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
so freaking cute. I just loved her. And then when she was coming to get me and she came in, some of the girls that I was friends with were getting out the same day as me. So I was like, Mom, this is my friend so-and-so. This is my prison sister. Like, and I got out. I was great. I couldn't open the door. Didn't remember how to open the door to the gas station. It was push button, and everything just goes away for a minute. Didn't know how to work Facebook because Facebook came out when I was in there, but everything comes back quick, snap. And yes, I do still talk to a lot of the girls, the good ones, the trustworthy ones, the ones that were real. You know, there's a bunch of fake bitches.
And also, I mean, did the kids appreciate what you learned at mommy camp? Did they?
Well, they would come visit me, and driving up the hill, they'd see a deer or a turkey. They're like, "Oh, Mommy, we see all the animals." I'm like, "Yes, I take care of those animals."
You know, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I'm learning how to take care of the animals and be a better mom, and I'll be home soon. And they came to visit me once a month. My mom brought them there faithfully. My girls came to visit me. My friends, those are my friends. Trisha's my sister. I mean, best friends since third grade. My lawyer, whoever thinks they're going to get a Fed case, and what are the chances that my best federal lawyer that can help?
I'm hoping I get a Fed case because I know Trisha. I'm hoping one day that happens for me, that I get so lucky, you know?
If you ever need one, God forbid, she will be there. But
I thank you so much, because this is just really truly enlightening in so many ways. And you have such a good attitude about it. And I know we've had a really lighthearted conversation, but Trisha, I wanted to kind of end with you of what you expect to wrap up with, like, to bring it back to the Jen Shah of it all. Is that, like, this sounds like, okay, cool. Like, Jen Shah might have a really good time, but I have a feeling Jen Shah is going to be in there a lot more than 2 years.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Jen Shah got 2 years, I think Jen Shah could do 2 years, sit in a baby chair, facing the corner of the wall, no problem. Right. I think if Jen Shah gets 5 or 7 years, I honestly don't think she's going to get more than 5, but maybe I'm just.
You really don't think because I was hearing like definitely 10, but you think that maybe she could get just 5 years.
My instinct is that she's going to get around 5 years. But maybe she won't. Maybe she will get more. And if she gets more, that's going to suck. You know what I mean? Like 2 years, especially, with Anne-Marie has always been the type of person who can handle pretty much everything. You hit the nail on the head when you said compartmentalize, make the best out of things. You know, Jen will have to do that. And I think she is capable of it. The difference between, and by the way, she was talking about long sentences and job assignments. The other night when I was watching the show and Jen had all those prescriptions out, she should definitely have her lawyers make an argument that she has a drug problem, whether it be prescription pills or not, because if you get into the RDAP program, the residential drug treatment, you can get a year knocked off your sentence. And the difference between 7 years and 6 years with 85% off is a big difference.
Well, Trisha, well, real quick, do you think that is do you think she included those scenes to get? Oh, absolutely. Wow. That's fascinating. Well, that was the other thing too. Like, what if my doctor prescribes me Xanax because I have anxiety? Are you allowed to take Xanax in prison?
I don't know about Xanax because it's a narcotic, but you could probably take Wellbutrin, which is an SSRI.
They have pill line every morning that you go to pill line if you're on medicine, and you take it right in front of the doctors.
Yeah, so I'm sure if you need your Lexapro and you need it, you know, I'm sure it's going to be less of a Dr. Feelgood situation in prison than it is anywhere else. But if you need it, you have to have it because you can't act up. You know, I'm sure we have such a mental health problem in this country, and a lot of times that does lead to crime, right? So if you have bipolar disorders and you need your meds, I'm sure they want you on it rather than off it. But the difference between Anne-Marie and Jen is vast in the sense that Anne-Marie does not have narcissistic personality disorder. Anne-Marie does not have.
Well, you can't tell her that right now. She's on the line with us.
I know,
you can tell us that afterwards.
I mean, she doesn't. No. She said we all are in here because we did something stupid. You're not going to hear Jen say that because she's incapable of admitting her guilt. And there are. Anne-Marie is also not a sociopath. So if the lack of empathy. I think Jen has a lot of empathy I don't know if Jen's a sociopath, but she does have narcissistic personality disorder, meaning that she believes that her level of entitlement is just at a different scale than the rest of ours. She does not think the rules apply to her. And like I said to you before, when you do something wrong, whether it be cheat on your spouse, or maybe people don't think that's wrong, but something that in society we define as wrong. It's always the most difficult the first time. Once you get away with it, it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier to a point where you believe your own bullshit.
Yeah.
Jen believes
that's what I'm saying. Oh, she believes. And the other thing that I notice a pattern her is that if anybody questions her even an iota, she will yell you down immediately and she will make you so you will never do it again. So she'll yell you down.
Makes me laugh. Like, I think.
No, Trisha, guys, listening, guys, Trisha texted me and goes, she's a great housewife. Da, da, da. And like, that is true. But in the sense of like, you're going to prison and is that going to work there?
Yes, listen, I started watching I escaped watching the Housewives franchises up until Jen Shah's arrest because somebody else asked me to come on their show as a legal to talk about the show. So I started watching it. My husband, much to his chagrin, right? Because he wasn't engaged to somebody who was a Housewives watcher, but now I watch at least 4 franchises.
Oh,
thanks a lot. So it became a running joke in our home that how the hell did they have a whole season long discussing a fight over whether Jen Shah smells like hospital. And so my husband, Frank, said to me yesterday about her going to prison, well, now she'll actually smell like hospital. And I mean,
yes, you did say that.
And Amory goes, if somebody told me I smelled like hospital, I would kill myself. Anyways, circling back, Jen Shah season 1 was a hot mess express. Jen Shah season 2, milder, gentler, slightly humbled Jen Shah. I found her funny and endearing. Jen Shah season 3 last night, perfect example. She dumped that champagne on Angie ABCDEFGHLM head, and then she went up to everybody else's and rationalized.
And said it was fun. No, guys, you don't understand. That's how we have fun here. We're doing a fun pour drink over. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's a lie. This is exactly why I do believe she's guilty as sin, is that she is so used to convincing people, and she's like she's good at it. She's like, no, that wasn't a mean pouring the drink over the head. That was a fun pouring the drink over the head.
Manipulation, entitlement.
Yes.
I mean, that's the stuff that I'm curious. With that kind of ego that the housewives have, when you put that in prison, that kind of ego, it could go one of 2 ways. She could run that place, or somebody could be like, I don't give a shit who you are.
I hope they get season 2 Jen Shah, because I think she'll be if she tries to be season 1 or season 3, she's going to end up with Heather Gay's black eye.
Hopefully we'll get experience for her a little bit. You know what I mean? If not, she's going to be quick either way. So.
Well, ladies, this has been I'm already inviting you back in the beginning of January once we get this sentence, because I need you guys to be a regular part of this show. This was just so I mean, Annie, thank you so much for being so open with us.
Welcome. I so don't mind at all. Actually.
Oh, this was just, I mean, I cannot wait for you guys to hear this. I really, this has been one of my best hours that I've talked. I mean, thank you guys. So anything that you want to promote? By the way, is there any pyramid schemes you want to promote, Annie? Any,
No, I actually, real quick, I know we got to go, but when we were in there, we didn't have the best of aesthetics. So we would have girls get whatever from the kitchen, and I would wash my face with lemon, honey, olive oil, and sugar. I'd say, give me that from the kitchen. And when I came home, I continued to wash my face with it. And I decided, why not make this something or try something? And I did. I developed a little sugar scrub. It's called Fed Face.
Okay.
It's new. I just started it. And it's just my little jar.
Oh, and okay. Well, wait. Are we talking about feds like the federal government? Are we talking Fed
Face? Because this is what I washed my face with when I was in federal prison.
Okay. Tell me you have a website for this. Tell me that how do I get people to order this?
So I just started it. I've just been doing this for the last month. I just started.
Oh my God, dude, this will be dude, I can promote that because I have a holiday gift guide coming out soon. This would be perfect on it.
Oh my God, I got to do it. I have to finish I was going to do Etsy, but I'm not sure what I want to do. I've been working on it for the last couple of days.
Dude, you got to let me know Okay, let's say goodbye, and then I want to talk to you after this about that. But guys, I'm going to let you know about FedFace on this episode and further episodes in the holiday season, because this seems like I want a bottle of FedFace. I need a bottle of FedFace.
Basically, it's all natural, all organic ingredients that Amory put together based off of what was available in prison, and realizing how much crap is in the stuff that is sold at CVS, online, at the highest end to the lowest end, and how if you simplify things, how you can be organic and still get a really good product. And when she says she's been working on it for the last few days, she means the marketing.
No. That's what I figured. No, that's what I didn't figure she was just like, hey, no. Yeah. By the way, watch out, Kim Kardashian. Somebody's coming for your skincare line. Yeah. And Trisha, how do we support you? Of course, we're going to put your Instagram and all of that stuff up. But by the way, Trisha is like, you guys, she's been on. She did a podcast that I really loved called Healed, which was a couple of years ago. Yeah. And her partner that did that together were on. But I also went to acting school with Trisha, and she's just one of the most talented people out there. So I'm so excited to hear about her writing and all of that stuff. But I'm serious, you guys. If you'll come back after sentencing, I would really love that. And Trisha, I didn't know you were watching all the Housewives now. We should do a whole recap series of one of your a season of a show or something, because I wasn't aware you were fully in it. But Annie and Trisha, I just really appreciate your time today, and thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. We'll be back. So much. Sure.